Originally, I was intending to make a separate video, but I was kind of looking around on the Lowe's website or the app to sort of double check something before I started. But I stumbled upon this. Of course, we know this is the new Power Stack battery that Dewalt is coming out with. I just came up upon it on the app. Like I said, it's not available yet. You can't ship it to home. I'm not sure when it sort of drops or when exactly it's supposed to, go live. I haven't really followed it too closely because when it came out or when they announced it, I was going through some things and just didn't really have a whole lot of time to pay attention to it. But here it is. So we got a price now, $149 or $150 with a charger. It's coming with a kit. So I don't know if they're going to be selling this with, an impact or a drill driver, or if they are, what they're going to be selling it with. I don't know if they're going to try to sell it with a recip, but usually, I don't know if you can usually you don't see them selling a battery and a charger by themselves and calling it a kit. So that'd be pretty interesting to see what they say. Looks like you're getting a newer the DCB 112. I believe the 110, and I might be mistaken, is the non-multi-volt charger. But this one will charge 12 volt and 20 volt. It'll charge your FlexVolt batteries. It'll charge, obviously, the Power Stack. Whatever battery, as long as it's 12 volt or 20 volt from DeWalt. And I don't know if it'll charge the old 12 volts prior to the Extreme line. But anyway, you see you got the fuel gauge. I would like to have seen them start adopting a 4 indicator fuel gauge for the battery level. If it gets down to 2 bars, are you halfway or are you 35%? To me, it just kind of makes more sense. Usually we're used to thinking in terms of, like a fuel gauge, like your fuel tank. You got a full tank, 3/4, half, quarter, and empty. And obviously if there's 0 lights on, then you're empty. Or obviously, probably in this case, you'll have a flashing light that's left. But anyway, it is nice touch. They still are using a rubber overmold. They're comparing this battery to a 2 amp hour, the 2 amp hour battery, and that battery does not have any rubber overmolds. And I'm not sure which of the DeWalt batteries actually do. There may be some that do, but I tend to think of those as, comparable to the Makita batteries that don't have any rubber overmolds at all. But anyway, you get an efficient cell stacked design, optimized compact size. So you get the charger and the battery, of course. You see the cells in there are stacked instead of they're like flat rectangles as opposed to like a cylindrical cell. You get 50% more power. So I'm guessing this is more output wise or maybe watt hour wise. I wasn't able to find how many watt hours this comes out to, but probably comparable to a 3 or 3.5 amp hour battery. Not quite a 4, obviously, because if they're comparing this directly to a 2, it's not gonna be a 4 if they only get 50% more power. So, but you're still gonna get more runtime, more power, and a smaller footprint. These batteries, I think they're still gonna be as wide as a 2 amp hour battery, but they're not gonna be quite as long. I think they're probably gonna be more lengthwise the size of these, Extreme, the 12 volt batteries. But I still think they're gonna be, they're gonna still be as wide. But I could be wrong. I have to wait until we see them side by side. It's gonna, of course, you're gonna be able to use this with all of the products except for 60 volt tools. But the FlexVolt Advantage, the Power Detect, the XR, the brushless, the brushed, this will work with all of them. Some other little photos here. Again, similar form factor. It might be a little bit narrower, but it's definitely going to be shorter than your typical 2 amp hour battery. They can only make this so narrow because then you have issues with it sort of connecting to the bottom of the tool. And here we go. We got 32 holes. The leading competitor, it looks like that might be a Milwaukee drill, maybe. I don't know what. Maybe they have a 2 amp hour battery there. And you get 32 holes with them versus 54 holes. Yeah, it might be. I don't know who else they'd be going up against. You see the, oh, now they got the hammer, the rotary hammer, using that as well. How many holes can you drill in with this one? Well, I guess they didn't give you any numbers. I guess you have to count. So obviously 9 versus 12. Interesting. And here we got how many rods you can cut. Getting this looking more and more like the Milwaukee. And of course the Dewalt bandsaw. I don't know. Oh, circular saw, 19 feet of OSB, 3/4 inch versus 34 foot. I'll keep going through that all day, I guess. But anyway, just some information. They don't think they've really put everything out because you got battery 2 amp hour 0, battery 1 amp hour 1.7. So I don't know if this is really a 1.7 amp hour battery. Again, like I said, I haven't really followed it too closely, just kind of looking at it really for the first time, to be honest with you. Anyway, I wanted to go back and look at, we all know about the Dewalt deal at Home Depot, the BOGO, buy one, get one. You buy the bag, the starter kit, you buy the bag charger, the same charger that comes with that power stack, the 12 volt, 20 volt charger, not a fast charger by any means. You get the 4 and the 6, and you get to pick the some tools to go with it. You can hack it or not. But Lowe's was listening, and I guess they sort of said, okay, we want to offer a kit too. And now they've got the same charger, but instead of a 6 and a 4, you get 2 5s, like that Milwaukee deal, and you get to pick a free tool as well. And when I was looking, I was not overjoyed and thoroughly impressed by the Lowe's offering of Dewalt. It just seems like more and more the Lowe's is getting the short end of the stick when it comes to tools and offerings, from DeWalt. And I guess up until Flex came out, there was really no real competition over there at Lowe's for shelf space because it was DeWalt, and you had Hitachi, who went through some sort of weird phase with Metabo, who is now Metabo. And, of course, you got Craftsman. They're not competing with the same company. Black & Decker to a much lesser degree, and Porter Cable also to a much lesser degree, to the fact that I don't think you can even find Black & Decker and Lowe's anymore. If you can, it's usually on a very small end cap, and it's usually a couple batteries or something like that. And then you had Cobalt. And, Cobalt, even though they're all brushless tools, they still are behind coming out with tools. They just announced the caulk gun, adhesive gun, and they made it sound like that everybody was asking for it. And I don't recall anybody asking for a caulk gun from Cobalt. Everybody's been asking for a nailer. Brad nailer, finished nailer, framing nailer. Everybody wants a nailer, and here they come out with a caulk gun that nobody asked for. But anyway, I think that's why, but I think now we're going to start seeing more focus from DeWalt on Lowe's. They've had that power detect line over here at Lowe's, and you don't really hear much else about it. It kind of came out, and then, you had the FlexVolt Advantage that Home Depot got, and they've just sort of been a lot more aggressive, as we'll see. anyway, these are the tools you get to choose from: the brushless sander, orbital sander, the they call this a power tool flashlight, or you can call this a task light, an area light. You're getting your 3/8 inch impact wrench. Obviously, this is going to be your low torque, not the, and I don't know how many foot-pounds this one is, but probably 250, 200 foot-pound. And then you got your XR impact driver. Of course, the multi-tool. It looks like you're getting the XR model here. You're getting the 1/2 inch impact wrench, the brushless sheet sander, the jig. You're getting the newer, looks like a newer recip, new-ish, and then you're getting the brushed angle grinder. And if you'll notice, there's not one power detect tool in here. They don't even offer you one at all to sort of, expand, on that line to sort of get people using it, to sort of maybe get people to buy higher output batteries with the 21700 cells. And we'll take a look at the Home Depot offerings, the same task light, the same sheet sander, but here you're getting a FlexVolt Advantage. You're not even getting a circular at Lowe's, much less a power detect circular. You're getting the blower, which there's some mixed reviews, but I think it probably works just fine. I have not used it. The miles per hour and the CFM are up there about on par with other 18/20 volt models. The cordless, the brushless router, the jig, power detect recip, FlexVolt Advantage recip, FlexVolt Advantage angle grinder, and you are getting the atomic multi-tool here though. But you also get to choose the 6 amp hour FlexVolt and also the brushless sander. So I guess, trying to find a reason why you would pick the Lowe's deal over the Home Depot. And I guess maybe if you were interested in getting, the impact wrenches or the impact driver that for some reason you don't have yet, if you're even considering this deal maybe, and if you're not, and this might appeal to you if you haven't purchased any tools yet, if you're just trying to branch out, if you're wanting to get into Dewalt's platform or switch from somebody else, and it might not be a bad option because you are getting at least an impact driver here, which will be fine. Probably not the smartest decision value-wise, just because it's one of the cheaper things here, like the sander, and even this multi-tool you can usually get for $99 with a free 2, a charger, and a bag. So you just got to kind of go with what makes sense here. I mean, the angle grinders don't even compare. You're getting the brushed angle grinder versus the FlexVolt Advantage brushless angle grinder. So you just got to kind of do what makes sense. You're getting the brand new, impact driver, the new atomic impact driver over here at Home Depot. If you're interested in doing, if you want to return the tool and keep the batteries and then buy the new atomic impact driver bare tool, that's certainly an option. And you're pretty much in the same boat. You're not having, I think the 4 and the 5 might be about the same size, because I don't believe this 4 here is the 21700 4, because that's just the one row of cells. So this is a little bit of the older original version 4. It's a little bit bigger, but I don't know if the 4 and the 5 weigh the same. But anyway, so you understand what I'm saying. You just gotta have to play with it a little bit and think it over and decide, hey, what do I want to do? What do I want to get? What makes the most sense to me? Or maybe you can't get it shipped anymore. Maybe Lowe's is the only place you have nearby. Maybe a Home Depot is the only place you have nearby. But I'm just rambling again, just kind of thinking of things, the possibilities. But it just seems more and more, especially with the Dewalt stuff, that Depot is definitely the fair-haired child and Lowe's is the red-headed stepchild, because they just don't seem to be doing anything with this power detect stuff. I mean, they should have offered some sort of high output kit and given you a choice of some of these power detect tools. And why they haven't, maybe this year, just kind of, I just don't know why they didn't. But I think the next year they probably do something, or maybe starting the Q2. Usually Q1's sort of a cool down after Q4, and even though we do see some deals, they start to kind of pick up that second quarter a little bit. Try to fill a little bit of that lull coming out of the first quarter. But anyway, just a thought. If you're interested, and just offer a little bit of a perspective and some reasonings behind kind of what I thought.